Hey guys, Ian Fernando here, and I got a special guest today. I'm kind of quarantined after I landed in from America, and I've been just going mentally crazy. So I was talking to my buddy the other day, and he posted an article on LinkedIn about business being affected by COVID-19, and I decided, hey, this would be a great opportunity to take him on and just talk and discuss. I met him when I was traveling and living in Vietnam, so we will all talk about how this pandemic, I guess you can say, is affecting my business, maybe his business, or what he thinks is going to happen, what I think might happen, what's going on in the future, how long this might happen, etc. So, um, Andrew, thank you for coming on and discussing this thing, this pandemic, this I am legend history that's currently going on. Um, so go ahead and just introduce yourself, and then we'll take the conversation from there.
Yeah, cool. Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks, Ian. Hey, guys, my name is Andrew Tran. I'm a digital marketer, I'm a digital strategist. I help brands kind of strategize and figure out what their problems and solutions are. And I run workshops around that. So, yeah, first and foremost, like it's been one of those kind of weird situations where any service industry that required like a face to face or group meeting has all been postponed. I had a few speaking gigs that all got postponed straight away when this COVID-19 kind of happened. I'm hearing news reports from back home in Australia where people are fighting over toilet paper, so it's absolutely crazy. And there's all that kind of stuff that's happening at the moment. But like the reason why I kind of wrote that article was because I think, like with any other situation that occurs, there's always a
And real
weird.
quick, below I'll post that link in the comment section on this video too, or in the description that Andrew's referring to.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks again. So yeah, so it's really weird because I think when there's certain crises that happen, either from an economic point of view or in this case like a pandemic, it kind of realigns. It lets us kind of go back into focus as to how we operate businesses and stuff. And so the reason why I wrote that article was because I wanted to do some quick research. I wanted to see how other brands or organizations in different industries, how they responded to COVID-19, especially from a marketing point of view, which is where I kind of come from. So, with that article, you have like big governments, like the Singapore government, for instance, leveraging WhatsApp as their kind of messaging tool to kind of keep in touch, communicate with their people, their audience, which is essentially their citizens, coming through. And I think that's a really cool way. And it's like I wrote in the article. It's a really good way that brands kind of find a platform of which they can easily communicate and connect with their audience. And I think it's something that whether you're a small brand or a large brand, you can definitely see value in that. If you're a local pizza owner and this COVID-19 is completely shut you down, like if you already got that list with with all these numbers of your customers, what you could do is you can just do a blast kind of message out, like WhatsApp group, create a WhatsApp group or create some sort of messaging group, even from a Facebook Messenger point of view. Send a messages out and say, hey, look, like I'm still open. Support small businesses. Hey, we still got this thing happening. Hey, you can still order your pizzas here. We can deliver it for you. So as a small business, I definitely see inspiration that you can gather from big, large organizations which have like big resources at their disposal, and I think you can adapt that for small businesses.
Yeah. So talking about small businesses, I mean, I'm here in Jersey City, and literally, there's all these small businesses are either closed or you're not allowed to order in, and you have to just pick up and leave. So, I mean, there's a lot of small businesses that are just closed, and in this situation, traffic is very bare none, just because there's nobody out, everybody's staying in. Now, I know you're in Vietnam right now. When I was living there just literally a couple weeks ago, it wasn't as crazy as it is now. So how's the situation there, and how is small business handling it over there, and how's everybody taking this pandemic, I guess?
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, like like Vietnam's kind of been doing social distancing, which is I guess the new buzzword for 2020. it's been doing that since January. So you've had like schools and universities kind of closed, so kind of large gatherings kind of being discouraged. But what's happened is, as as the West has kind of caught on, how this disease, this virus, has kind of spread so rapidly, like especially in Europe, which
Yeah.
I know you were just there not too long ago as
I
well.
wasn't in Europe, I had to fly over Europe, but I was gonna have
Uh,
a connecting flight in Poland, coming from Russia, but it got
yeah,
canceled. So yeah,
damn, yeah. So I mean, when you're in there and you can see that, then I think what I'm kind of seeing from Vietnam is that more and more people, more and more people are being a lot more sensitive to the approach, and as a result, like you're seeing more and more people like wear the masks, and you're seeing bars kind of close. You're seeing reports of suspected rumors of certain districts having COVID-19 cases. We just got hit up like by our landlord to like provide our credentials,
oh
so
man,
that
it's getting really
possibly
serious there.
police. Yeah, man. So it's starting to get crazy, man. And that's not even just me. That's like pretty much all foreigners.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's the reason
yeah,
why I think I had to. I mean, I really wanted to come back or go at least back to the Philippines, but for me, it's like I really don't want to get stuck doing like a visa run because I know Cambodia just closed their borders to U.S. entries, and even now Vietnam are doing the same thing to non-foreign nationals. So, but let's take the conversation in a different direction from offline business, physical locations to the online world. Like for me
yeah,
specifically, since I do affiliate marketing and marketing online, and most of my business is all online, a lot of my stuff has actually slowed down. Like traffic has slowed down. I'm spending money, but not again conversions. Um, there's no volume on certain types of traffic sources out there as well. Maybe certain offers aren't working. Then I have my Amazon business. More recently today, or I think yesterday, Amazon's only shipping essentials, and we have to ship ourselves the non-essentials from our location, which is the FBM model. So I'm more curious to see what your thought of on online marketing. What effects has it done, or is affecting vendors online, their income, and what do you think is going to happen going forward?
yeah. I mean, like you just said before, because of this, you're seeing that a lot of like you said, traffic is slowing down, and as a result of that, there's going to have to be a realignment with regards to, as a marketer, how you perceive your target audience, what kind of media they come. So it's all about like kind of realignment now. Start looking at your personas. Start looking at ways of which your target audience interact with certain social media platforms or certain media publications. And off the back of that, then you can start doing some tests and learn. So I think the principles are still there with regards to how you kind of target online marketing, even though you have less traffic coming through. But because you've got less traffic coming through, then it's even more important to realize and understand what exactly you're trying to push out, and what is, I guess, your unique selling proposition coming through. So I'll give you a good example, right? So, off the back of this kind of COVID-19 pandemic that's happened, one thing that I've seen from a trend perspective is online learning has gone up. Like the search for online learning has gone up, e-learning has gone up. And so as a result, you're seeing these traditional education institutions like suddenly in a panic. They don't know how to really handle the situation, or because there's such a legacy kind of industry that they're having to that they feel as if they're behind the eight ball in terms of trying to get online. But whereas you see these pure players like VIP Kids, or there's a startup right now called One on One English, which is based in Vietnam and Singapore, and you're seeing traffic coming through from them. So these kind of new age businesses where they're pure play online, you're going to see them kind of come up, and I personally kind of see these businesses really push out their unique selling proposition. which is, hey, we're pure online. We have the facilities, we have the tools, we've got a great product that allows you to converse and still convey your thoughts, feelings that you would normally have, like if you were to have face to face, but do it in a safe environment. In the midst of this kind of COVID-19, this kind of self quarantine that that governments are kind of issuing to
Yeah.
citizens all around the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, I mean, if I was there, we would probably be doing this conversation face to face. But obviously, this social distancing is killing me, and I'm like, ah, man, this is too much. But let's say like that in the I definitely agree with the info and e-learning space is definitely increasing much more. But let's say for example like the e-com space. The e-com space, people are not buying as much stuff now. I know a lot of e-commerce and affiliates that are promoting e-com products or physical products. They're not doing that well either. So what do you think is that they can do to help them increase their sales, or if they can try to generate more or steady revenue because of this loss of this pandemic, where people are now being a little bit more frugal on where they spend their money just because they don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, and it comes back down to needs and wants, right? So if you're an e-coms business, obviously you're gonna have multiple products, and as a result, you're gonna have products that people desire versus products that people need, right? And so I would probably, as an e-com business owner, I'll do a quick kind of check as to, okay, what products are who are my customers first and foremost, of those target audiences or my target customer, what do they need, and how I can provide value for that particular target audience.
Are you doing it
And
from
so,
like an angle perspective because of the virus? Because people
yeah,
need,
it could be,
or
it could be, yeah, safety. That's a big thing. Safety, cleanliness, those kind of elements come into play as well. So anything that can trigger those kind of emotive kind of tactics really comes into play, and then obviously your communication elements will also be looked at as well. So that's an important ingredient. But I think it comes back down to, if you're an e-commerce business, you start doing an audit on the products that you already have, and then kind of mirror that up with your target audience, your target customer, and see what your target customer needs, to the products that you already have, and then push those, like have more emphasis on pushing those particular products coming out. So that's just one thing. Another thing I would actually look at, which I think is a big thing, is your emails, right?
yeah,
If you're an
that'd be good.
e-commerce business, you've got an email database list of like hundreds and thousands of people, right? So this is a really great way of communicating to your audience that, hey, you know what? We know this COVID-19 is a big thing at the moment. We do understand that there's like it's going to cause a lot of hysteria, a lot of uncertainty. So here's a couple of products that we have tried and tested, and we found that our customer, our audience, really love, and just check it out. So it might mean that now that you've got this target audience list, okay, cool. You know who you want to target. You've got a list that you can push out directly to them. You've looked at your products, and you've done an audit. You've realized what is the essentials or the needs that you want. Now it's like, all right, well, if you've pushed this message out to your target audience and you're trying to pull them onto your website to do something, now you start looking at your landing pages and go, all right, well, how do I cater for that? And start looking at, well, how does my communication, how does the layout of my landing page help my target audience as they go through that research phase, consideration phase, before they actually take action and go through purchase. So I would actually look at that, and it comes back down to just like the user journey flow.
Yeah,
But
but
there's
I
some
mean,
really
don't
quick
don't
wins.
don't you think it'd be? I mean, I feel like the user journey flow would be, yeah, they'd want to, and then they would go to the checkout and be like, ah, then they would rethink, do I really need this right now with this pandemic going on? Because I think right now what I'm seeing is that my conversion definitely dropping a lot. I'm actually spending more on ad spend just to figure out what's going on, and
Mhm.
it's just the fact that I think that people just don't want to spend on unnecessary items like, for example, weight loss products. So how
right.
can that weight loss product? I have no, I don't even know how to question this just because it's a hard thing to kind of think about. Like conversion
Yeah,
definitely dropped for me, like
yeah,
literally overnight just 2 weeks ago, and now I'm trying to figure out what is the next offer I can promote online,
yeah,
even if the user flow is solid, but the conversions are not as what it used to be prior because
yeah,
of this hysteria. Like, what do you
yeah.
think
So
is?
that
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, actually that's a good point. So you've got this conversion that's dipped. So you already had a user flow that you already solid prior to this pandemic. Now this pandemic's happened. It's completely warped the way of which your target audience or your customer kind of goes through that consideration and purchasing kind of phase. So then therefore it's like, all right, well, if you're seeing a drop in conversions, are you seeing an increase in like cart abandonment? So like they're not necessarily. I mean, sorry, you do see a decrease in terms of traffic flow coming through, but if they're going through, say, a typical funnel between hitting your ad, going through the landing pages, and then going through the checkout, if the percentages through that funnel remain slightly the same, but there's a big increase in terms of just the cart abandonment, for instance, then maybe there's an opportunity there for is to probably implement some sort of cart abandonment type of communication message coming through. So maybe it's an opportunity then to start looking at, all right, well, at what point do I actually capture this customer's email address, right? Can I capture like closer to the top part of the checkout funnel, for instance? And that way, if they do abandon the cart, I do have their details. I can automate some sort of quick message to them to kind of highlight the user benefits of that particular product. I mean,
even
you
even
went
through
back.
this even through this like pandemic situations going on, like
Yeah,
does people want to buy weight loss products right now, or like erectile dysfunction pills right now? Like that's the thing, right? So how do you for me
angle
it's
it.
just seeing that, and then obviously if I'm getting a conversion of, I don't know, let's say an average of 25%, right, and that goes down to literally 2%, that just tells
Right.
me that people are either in a panic mode where they're trying to save money,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't want to spend, or it could be like, hey, maybe they're not really interested. But with the hysteria that's going on, to me, I feel like they just don't want to spend, and then I have to find new offers or new products or new angles as to how to get them to convert over, and that's
Yep.
something I have to think about. But the funnel flow, I do agree to a point, because maybe you can use those email leads later and then recover your lost ad spend or your lost potential revenue made later on. But I mean, that's something down the line instead of indirect marketing. $1 in, $1.50 have to come back, or at least $1, right?
Right.
So, um,
Right.
very
Yeah.
interesting
I mean,
concept.
yeah. I mean, well, maybe like you said before, like well, if this product isn't working, weight loss, um, is weight loss the actual key message I should be pushing out, or is preventative disease is probably a better message that I might push out. So it could be the same product, but it's just
Uh,
a different angle of which you communicate it towards.
yeah,
It
that
could
that
be,
is that is true, much better. But then the advertiser would have to change their copy and their landing page, and that
yeah,
takes at least a good week to do, to adjust. But
yeah,
the story behind it can be adjusted to preventative disease, especially.
yeah,
Ah, okay, that's good. That makes a
yeah.
little bit more sense actually now. So yeah, okay, cool. So, and then with your business, I know you're a lot of stuff been canceling. Like, how you're dealing with it on your side, like with this pandemic with the COVID-19.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me right now, like I said, I had like a few events all scheduled, all booked over the next 6 weeks, and they've all been postponed slash cancelled. So as a result, all I can do right now is I still want to stay relevant. So I'm pushing out my content throughout my kind of social networks, like on LinkedIn, for instance, pushing that out on my Facebook page, pushing that one out as well. And at the same time, like I'm contemplating actually, running a webinar workshop to kind of highlight what I do
Yeah.
as well. So here in Vietnam, what I do is essentially strategic planning and the value of strategic planning through creativity and working as a group. So it's stuff that maybe as a marketer, if you're a seasoned marketer, like it's you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty logical. You need a whole bunch of people to come together that are that are specialists in certain fields to try and solve a particular problem. But here in Vietnam, it's a new concept, and I've got a really cool way of doing it, which is really quick as well. So it's all about kind of high impact and speed coming through. It's all about growth here because here in Vietnam, here in the Southeast Asia region, there's a lot of growth that's happening. Even though there's going to be very, very close to becoming like all this economic downturn is happening, all these messages around recession, global financial crisis that's happening. But in the midst of that, I think to me that's just an opportunity for the world to kind of recalibrate. You have all these startups here that probably didn't pitch correctly as to their correct business model, and so you have these investors or these VCs who just throw money at it. But now, like because the belt essentially is tightening when it comes to cash flow, they're going to be a lot more careful in terms of what they invest. Everybody from VCs all the way down to banks. So startup businesses, they're going to have to kind of come up with a really solid idea, but also an idea that will make money in the long term and that will provide a revenue stream to pay back their investors.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. With Southeast Asia, the growth. I mean, living there for 5 years is pretty amazing, especially Vietnam. The growth potential there is huge. I know when I came from Affiliate World Asia, people just want to figure out how to get people on websites and monetize the website in that way, all in Vietnam. So yeah, I
Yep.
totally agree. So
And what's happening in your world though? Like in the affiliate world, I know you just came back from one event coming through. What was the sentiment like over there?
I mean, a lot of people they're right now my space in media buying and ad buying is questionable just because I don't think people want to buy online right now. Either people are trying to figure out what to do to keep themselves entertained, rather than buying something physical and then waiting for it in the mail just because stuff might come from China or people are touching packages and they're all scared of all this stuff. So I'm looking towards more offers in the space of info, what to do online, things to do like remote work and all that stuff. But the space in general is, I wouldn't say strong, but not an iron fist strong like it was maybe 3 months ago. It definitely is declining, I guess, in conversions. I mean, that's just me personally and talking to some people. Whereas I know some people are doing really, really well still with specifically dating, right? So they're still
Yeah, right.
doing, yeah, and they're still doing the 5 figures a week that they're doing, and man, pop to them for sure. But for what I've been seeing and people that I also been talking to, I talked to my buddy just this morning, and even him and his buddy are struggling. People are doing crypto, any online consulting. I like you saying the services, it's not doing too well. So um, I'm trying to adjust. Obviously, it's really good to refreshing for me to adjust and open up my mind to this, which is good. But also like, oh man, where is this next conversion gonna happen, right? So that's the argument I have in my head. But it's just an evolution thing. I mean, I've been in this for so long. If I didn't survive the past X amount of years, then I don't deserve to be here. But in the space in itself, just traffic is either going to be too saturated because people are spending way too much money to get their brand out there with no conversions, and that's what they're doing, or there's going to be too much inventory that's open that it's good. CPC is going to be very, very cheap, but then obviously the interaction and ad engagements are going to be very, very low. So I mean, there's this big question of how CPM, CPCs are going to work in the space, and it's very interesting to see what's going to happen. I mean, especially let's say this COVID-19 is cured in the next, let's say tomorrow, all the ad inventory are going to be so competitive because everybody are now going to start throwing ads, and CPCs are just going to skyrocket. So there's that question: what happens after COVID-19 in the ad space? Will the CPC stabilize? Will it just skyrocket because everybody's trying to buy ads now? It's very questionable. So, I mean, right now it's just very, very early stages, I think, of what's going to happen, especially in the ad buying space.
Yeah. Do you find though, like you said, like you've been in the game for such a long time, we're basically going through another GFC, which was about 12 years ago. Are you finding now like, okay, cool, I have to relook at some of the products that I have and really kind of map out, okay, what products are going to work in this kind of climate, like when it
Yeah,
comes to
so
health?
that's what I'm doing now. I was working on a campaign yesterday, and then I just talked to a bunch of people and my Adventures Slack group, and we all agree maybe something more info based, something more related to this specific trend, this pandemic. How can we help users in this time of need right now? Those type of offers to be
Yep.
promoted rather than weight loss and I don't know software installation stuff like that. But
Yep.
that's it right now, and I'm going to be actually doing it later. I'll probably be doing a live campaign with my group later, and we'll see how it
Nice.
goes. So, but that's the situation. I'm trying to find offers that are more useful for the situation that we're currently in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, it kind of comes back down, like you just said before, like it comes back down to like, all right, what is, if I know who my target audience is, what is the value that I'm going to, what kind of product I'm going to sell that's going to add value to their lives, either from a need perspective or from a want perspective. I think what you're doing is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of keen to kind of see what's happening.
Well, you gotta sign up to adventuresonline.com,
Yeah,
bro.
let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, guys. We are at 27 minutes. I think it was a very good conversation on what's happening in the digital space overall. Me coming from the affiliate media buy space, Andrew coming from the marketing strategies point of view. So thank you for joining in. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put in the comments. I guess I'll upload this to the podcast and YouTube and all over the internet. And I'll probably be doing these some more just to keep my sanity because this quarantine is really, really killing me. And Andrew, thank you for having a conversation with me. And if you have any last words or last thoughts, go ahead and say them.
Yeah, like thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. If you guys have any questions whatsoever from a marketing strategy point of view, let me know. I'm more than happy to jump on call. I'm really good mates with Ian. We banter. We have a good time together. Especially when he was in Vietnam as well. Like he gets my jokes. He was born in the '80s, grew up in the '90s, so
There you go.
he gets my jokes. But no, hopefully it adds value to your day. To what you guys are doing as well. And if so, let me know. And if you have any more questions, let me know as well. I'm more than happy to come back.
Awesome. All right, guys, stay safe out there. I guess practice social distancing. You don't have to do any social distancing in my chat, but yeah. All right, guys, thank you, Andrew, and that's it.
See ya. Bye.